Hi, so let me get comfortable here. Hello, everyone. I am Karla Davis Luster, and I'm back. And this is what you're tuning into, the Us Review. You're probably wondering, what is the Us Review? So let me talk about that. The Us Review is basically my new show that you will be able to see on multiple platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And this particular show is where I will talk about relationship stuff. I know most of you are familiar that's tuning in, and for those of you whom are not familiar, I do another show called The Information Exchange. And on the Information Exchange, I really have begun to center it around, we talk about relationship things, but I've really begun to center that around more entrepreneurial, career-based topics where people are coming in and they're talking about how they got started, what are the things they're doing to be successful, and everything business. So I thought it would be kind of cool, and hopefully you guys will agree and that you'll, support me and come on, comment, share, like, whatever, to separate, talking about a relationship and with entrepreneurship. Now, of course, when I do talk about, speak with, the different guests that I have on the Information Exchange, I may get into a little bit of talking, what is their relationship status or whatever else, but the big topics and all of the stuff really centered around relationships will be housed here on the Us Review. And I invite you once again to tune in on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on any of the platforms at Ask Karla to listen, comment, share, whatever, join in, because it's merely a conversation. And once again, here's where I will talk about relationship stuff. Now, I want to tell you where the preface of my information will come from, and that is the series of my novels, okay? The Woman Tells, and I'm Not a Homework or Opportunist, maybe, and there are several more coming after this, but these are the first two that I've written in this romance series. And basically, let me just give you a little bit of what they are about. Basically, the Woman Tells series in the first book is about a couple. They struggle, they make decisions, good, bad, or indifferent, to bring other people into the relationship, and it kind of like spirals from there. It's a little bit of intimacy in there, it's a little bit of humor in the books, but at the end of the day, I bring it back around. I usually write 12 chapters in my books. I'll bring it back around for chapter 12 to talk about accountability. Now, on Tuesdays, I will be taking the preface from the various chapters in my novels. Tonight happens to be chapter 1. And I have to say that I'd like to start off with chapter 1. We're going to be tonight talking about soulmates. That is a subject that I think everyone can identify. Everyone has their own thing about it. You may even think that you got your soulmate now. That's wonderful. However, when preparing to talk about this subject tonight, I took the opportunity and the liberty to not only, it's going to be about my opinion, which is, everyone has their opinion, is I wanted to see how did Webster define a soulmate. I Googled it. I went to several, different references, talked to people like I always do, getting their opinion. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? However, I will tell you that the definition that Webster gave about a soulmate was it is a person that's ideally suited for another. To me, that's very, very broad because everyone is different. Everyone has their likes, they have their dislikes. So what tickles my fancy may not tickle your fancy. So to me, Webster left it very broad, meaning that, in my opinion, is that a soulmate has a lot of definitions. It's defined by the person that's looking at it, the person that is in the situation and trying to figure out what it is that suits their fancy that they may call, or that person that suits their fancy that they can say, this is my soulmate, because they're meeting all these things that's on my checklist of what I like, my likes. And that's us suited for another. So when you think about it, once again, a soulmate has a lot of definitions and meanings because ideally it's that person that's suited for another. And whatever your perception is, whatever your definition of suited is, that's what it is. Let me be clear once again, and I want to keep stating this, is that what I talk about on the show is merely my perception, my opinion, information that I've gathered or read, or statistics or whatever that I have actually seen. And I would love for you to like, share, most definitely comment on it. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, including me. And if you have a comment, please feel free to state that, because at the end of the day, and at the essence of what we're talking about, it's a conversation that we're having about a topic. There is no good, bad, indifferent. There is no right or wrong answer. It is merely the topic of a soulmate is what you feel. Like Webster said, it's one that's suited for another. So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. So with that said, I'd like to kick it off with just merely reading something from my chapter in my book, The Woman Tells, the first chapter, and just talking about what a soulmate is. So let me read you this. Hold on one second. Put down, I got a lot of stuff here, so this is basically a conversation in a very relaxed atmosphere, where we're just talking about soulmates tonight. So I wrote, and this is in chapter 1 of The Woman Tells. I will show you that. Chapter 1, the title is, and excuse the French, because when I go at it, I just write and I try to just whatever I feel I write, basically. So I do apologize if some of the lingo that I use is offensive. However, it's how I feel, what I feel, and what I like to write. So chapter 1, intro to life's bullshit. You know, because life can throw you some curves. It can throw you all kind of stuff, twist you up, turn you up, or whatever else. And it all comes back to what merely is it? It's a bunch of bull crap. Okay. Here is, let me read. Life is all about what you make it. Goals and dreams can come true. However, you have to be willing to put in the work to see it through. When I take that back to the topic that we're talking about, soulmates, because someone if you find them and they're just ideal for you, they're meeting once again all of the things on your checklist or whatever. At some point, you know, there may be some disagreement. I can't see them living up to your expectation every day, 100% of the time that you're together, because people are different. People have their own opinions. And when you get out of that la-la land, and I like to call it the la-la land, when people first start dating, they're in their best behavior. You know, I got to look this way, I got to look that way, whatever. However, the content sets in when people get comfortable and when they are, okay, you know, I got this in the bag, or you're not, you know, as interested in impressing or whatever else, you're being yourself. And that's one of the things I'm going to get to. I did Google a list of things that is said to be, you know, a kind of a test or a checklist where you can say, you know, maybe this is my soulmate. However, you have to, what this says, you have to work at it. You got to continue to work at it. In this, I'll read a couple of more passages from here. However, I get to the point where I say that you got to continue to water the plant. Your relationship is a plant that waters. And if, you know, it may be all different kind of plants, meaning that they have different watering cycles. Like a cactus, I don't think it has to be watered as often. I don't have a green thumb is what I meant to say, but at some point it has to be watered. So think about that. However, getting back to the book, it says, not every door you try to enter will open. Not every person you encounter will have your best interest at heart, including the person who you commit to. Sometimes, you know, once again, when selecting that soulmate, you know, depending on if they're really your soulmate and really if they are for you, you could run into some of these things. Most people hope and pray that they initially find their soulmate out the gate. You know, like when you're dating, is this the one? You know, he's doing this and that, or she's doing this, and that. You know, you're wondering, you know, your best behavior. You know, they appear to be this person that you like. But maybe the day, listen to this, maybe the day you chose your other half, your significant other, or whatever we are calling them these days, whatever you want to call them, you discovered that later in your relationship, after you've been going out a while, you guys have become comfortable, you've gotten used to each other, you know, things have kind of set in, the newness have kind of worn off, and you've done a lot. You discover later in your relationship that your barometer was broken and you were subjected to a miscalculation of vibes. What do I mean about that? It's, I go back to this, the initial thing that I said is that most of the times in the beginning, we're all on our best behavior. People, their true colors are not coming out, and stuff like that. And I got to say, I am married, but you continue to learn about a person, I guess, throughout the relationship. You're not going to learn everything in one day, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. There are things that I am still learning, things that, I'm still learning about myself, let alone, knowing something about another person. And this, once again, we're talking about, for those of you who may just, like have skipped forward or whatever else, we're talking about soulmates, is that, it's the definition of a soulmate is whatever tickles your fancy, whatever you deem it to be. And I don't want people to get confused that soulmate means that they're never going to do something that you disagree with, or there's never going to be any discourse in the relationship. A relationship that never has any discourse, never have anything that goes wrong, never have any thing. I would be afraid for that relationship, because should something come, should a storm come, should something happen, and you've never been through anything, I would be a little nervous that, can we stand the test of time? If something happened, will this break us apart? So I think sometimes trials and tribulations, discourse, and whatever I'm saying, help to build a relationship if you get through it and you learn how to work through things positively. That everything is not a hand grenade or whatever that blows you up and you're done, because those are not the relationships worth saving. If you can't go through something together, then to me, that's not a soulmate type of a person, because they're not willing to work through things with you. And so I just read a little bit from chapter 1. I may refer back to this as well, because this is in my novel, The Woman Tells, chapter 1, reading about a soulmate. However, first of all, the meaning, once again, is, whatever your expectations are. What are your likes? What you need to know, what are your dislikes? What are your deal breakers? As a person, when you were listing out all these things and all this checklist stuff about what is your ideal soulmate, you need to actually know, what do you like? What do you dislike? What could this person possibly do, that's supposed to be my so-called soulmate, do to actually make me not want the relationship anymore, or it becomes a deal breaker, whereas you did this, you stepped over this line, I can't return because I can't get past that. This was my deal breaker. What qualifications, so with me saying all of that, is what I'm trying to say is that you need to really know yourself first. You need to really, think about what it is that you like. What are the qualifications that you are looking for physically? A lot of people, and I hate to hear people say that looks aren't everything. Let me be clear. This is my opinion, but looks is the first thing that you have. When you see a person, that is the first initial thing that you see. Whether or not you're attracted to a person when you first see them. Okay, so you have to have something that make that connection. Maybe you weren't attracted and y'all had a long conversation and you became attracted. But initially, you looked at that person. So at some point, maybe you decide that physical is not the thing that triggers your fancy to initially get you interested. However, a physical being does play a little bit of a part. You do think about it. You do know what that is. So most people are all physical. If you don't have the physical attribute, I don't care if you, what do we say? I hate to call people different names or whatever. If you're not meeting up to the standards in the physical department, then I'm not going to even be interested. I can't even get past that initial look to go to step 2 to even see if you're smart or whatever. And that's your mental, you need to know what you are attracted to mentally. Are you attracted to someone that, if you're in a circle and you take them somewhere? I love this when I've gone places and we're in, settings with couples, and they are, everyone is sitting around talking, and let's just say we're talking politics, that, maybe the person you're with, you need to know if you're okay with them not being as socially equipped to hold any conversation with anyone in any circle maybe they're quiet, maybe they're introvert, just whatever. You need to know what it is that you like in a person mentally. So we talked about physically. You need to know if that is a concern of yours. Is mentally a concern. Let's talk financially. Man, do I hear all the time. I talk to a lot of young people. I work with a lot of young people at my UPS store, and it's just fun, when we don't have customers. We can almost talk about everything, and they're running stuff by me, it's just a great time. And most of them, when you talk to them, it's like, wow, she's got to be bringing something to the table because I'm not going to be doing all of this. And she's got to be able to do this, or he's got to be able to do this. He needs to have this. Basically, some of these checklists, you need to think about, are they really realistic? Are they really something that's really going to happen? Or is that a 1 in a million shot that you're going to get that thing? So you need to know, once again, physically what you're looking for, mentally what you're looking for, financially what you're looking for, socially, I kind of talked about that already, what you're looking for. It's just a whole lot of things that you're looking for. And one thing that's very important to me, and I know a lot of and I don't want to just say older people, because I've known a lot of younger people to be very concerned with this in a person, is their spirituality. Are you a spiritual person? Are you a religious person, where you meet someone and they have no interest in religion or whatever else, or church or whatever you do? They have no interest. They're atheists or something. That could really put a discourse, once again, into a relationship. So you need to know, do the person have to be on that same level with you? Or can you deal with, you're going to church or you're doing whatever you're doing spiritually, and they are like, just have no interest in it whatsoever? However, you guys connect on every other level. You need to know the levels and the differences in different areas that you can deal with or not deal with. Once again, deal with or not deal with, is that on your list of, this is my soulmate? Okay, so we're talking about soulmates. So just plain old, just different things that are going to bother you. And for me, here's a big one. And it may seem silly, but I'm silly. I like to laugh. I can remember, and rest in peace, my mother has passed on. However, I can remember her talking about me and my best friend. And it seemed like we were always laughing at something. I mean, from 6th grade all the way up, that we met in 6th grade. We always was, it's just something, everything was funny. Everything was, we were just silly girls, and we laughed, and we laughed so hard. Can you be with someone that's just always serious? If you're me, I couldn't possibly be with someone that has no sense of humor at all. I'm laughing or whatever else, and they're always like stuck in the mud. It's like, get the stick out of your whatever. I like to laugh. I like to have fun. I think laughter is just, to me, and a lot of people say this, is really good for the soul, really good for the heart. It's good for the relationship, because it lightens the mood. Sometimes when you're having a conversation, a hard conversation, maybe an icebreaker will help that conversation to go a little bit lighter, a little bit better, a little bit more polished, because you are able to put a little sense of humor in it, although it could be a serious topic. Maybe sometimes that humor, sense of humor, is what you need to lighten the load. So with all of that being said, all of these things are important when you are deciding on what you really want in a mate. Someone that you're calling your soulmate, I think they need to meet anywhere. And this is merely, once again, I said, my perception, my opinion. This is not something that I actually read or took from Webster or Google. My opinion, they need to meet at least 90-95% of your likes, okay? If you're keeping a list, you see a lot of movies where these girls got these checklists. Two can play that game. I think one of the young ladies in there had a checklist, if they didn't meet this or whatever. Maybe I'm not calling the right movie. However, you need to decide what can you deal with, and what is, just too much, that they're just not that person. Keep in mind, no one is going to be 100%. Please do not get stuck on that. I hear a lot of younger people, and there are probably some older people that's, if they're not doing this, I am just not whatever, and in some cases you may need to just realize that you could very well be by yourself, because no one is going to be 100% of what you want. And, keep in mind, they may have a checklist too, and maybe you're not meeting theirs. So, you want to be realistic. But the closer you can get to, that, the better, the closer you can get to a large percentage of the things that you like in a person, and vice versa, they're liking, things about you, I think is a better chance that you have at maintaining a happy and a successful relationship. Closer to being able to call that person your soulmate, you need to make sure that, once again, up front, that you're communicating to your partner. Silence in this case is not golden to me. It is not golden, my opinion. Don't let your loneliness or your anxiousness too. Here's one. Don't let your loneliness or your anxiousness cause you to settle in a partner, cause you to settle for less. One of my sayings in my novel, I talk about watering your plant, which, I just said that. I gave you kind of like the overview of the analysis of what I meant by that. Meaning, doing everything to appease the person because you're so lonely and you so want to get with someone. You're just accepting to a lot of things that may not be things that you like. Okay, they're gonna have the dislikes, just keep in mind, but what is that percentage? Suddenly, you're just going along with everything, and then, because keep in mind, at some point in that relationship, you are going to get to the point where you're going to say, this person is not my soulmate. I actually don't like them, because you're so blinded with just getting a person, you go along with everything. And then when everything settled down, the dust settled down, and you have moved past all of the la, and you've gotten past the thing that you've gotten a person, then, reality sets in. However, you need to discover, once again, your likes and your dislikes, whatever the case that may be. And that can lead to a lot of outcomes and stuff like that. But getting back to the soulmate, there are some various signs that I think that you can test. I Googled them, and some of it is my opinion. And I'm going to just kind of call some of those things off to you, and getting closer to, ending this session with talking about soulmates. One thing is being with them. You need to know that this is a person that being with them is like being at home. It's like this person is, you're so in tune with each other that it's like you're at home. You know how you're at home, you're relaxing, everything is comfortable. You came home from work and you can just let your hair down. You're at home and you are comfortable. Meaning, it's like being at home, you're comfortable with this person. Another thing is that I think that it's really good that when you are, considering a soulmate or dating a person or relationship wise, that they are your friend. Hopefully they're your best friend. Meaning your best friend, you can talk about anything, you can do anything, you can be yourself. It's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that's encompassed in that they're your best friend, and that's very important. The next thing I would say is that you guys balance each other out, okay? Meaning that my shortcomings, they're strong in, and their shortcomings, I'm strong in. We are a balance. Maybe I am the silly one and they're the serious one, but we can meet in the middle and have fun. Maybe, you can talk balance with a lot of topics. You can talk balance with finances. Maybe both of you are not making $1 million, or both of you are not like poverty stricken or whatever, or whatever you want to say with that. I'm being funny right there, but you balance each other out. I bring this to the table, but she brings that to the table that I don't bring. So a balance is very good. You have lots of empathy for each other. You can just basically understand a lot of things that they go through and have that sincerity towards them. You want to make sure that you guys have a respect for each other's differences. Respecting is not just respecting them when you guys agree. Respecting them is that you respect the fact that they do have a difference of an opinion. You're okay with that. You're okay that you guys, don't see eye to eye on that, but you have the respect, and it's not a big, blowout because you don't agree with me, I don't agree with you. You can, as adults and mature adults, be able to respect the differences, but agree. What's important is that you guys agree on important things. If small things or whatever you disagree, that's fine. But the important things like buying a house or something, or spending like a ton of money or something, or a purchase of a car, or do one of your elderly parents move in, those are huge decisions that you need to really agree on. So, respect the differences. However, the important things you need to agree on is, and that's your soulmate that's willing to work with you on that. You challenge each other, to be better. You're pushing each other, hey, you can do this, you can write, you can be an author, you can sing, whatever that thing is that you guys encourage each other to be better. You can be yourself around them. I've said that over and over again. You are each other's biggest fan. So, and this is a support thing, and it's really big with me. Whatever work or whatever their profession is or whatever they're doing, as a partner, as a soulmate, in a relationship, you want to make sure that you are their biggest fan, okay? That you are their biggest supporter. However, you also want to be that mirror, to be able to tell them truthfully, your opinion, truthfully, on, what is, good, bad, indifferent, or whatever else. You're that mirror as well. Not only are you the fan, you are the mirror as well. You fight for the relationship, it's and right here I'd like to throw out that I have the relationship color palette. It's been out there. I wrote an article for Waymaker. Many of you know that. Page 96 on the issue, the Queen Latifah issue. 96 is in the back of the book, where you can scan the QR code and go take a test, and you come up with a color. Your partners scan it, take it by themselves. They come up with their color, and you look at how compatible your color is. I do invite you to do that. It is something fun that you can do together. And then you can, the differences or whatever, you can have conversation around that. That particular assessment guide is coming out somewhere around February, March. I'll keep you posted on that. But it talks about all the relationship stuff. It gives an overview. It compares relationships to colors. If it was a color, this would be this. And I talk about brassiness and all that kind of stuff, using color terms, but putting it into a relationship situation. And afterwards you can take the quiz. Once you take the quiz, you write down the differences and what you come up with, make action plans. And then I also put in there a date night calendar where you can, your activities to try to strengthen your relationship. You have the ability to schedule out your date night. So with that being said, you fight for the relationship is one of the things that I think is part of looking for a soulmate. You understand each other's emotional language, when someone is feeling a certain way or whatever, you can understand that. And you respect that as well. You can feel each other's pain if someone is going through something. You feel almost like it happened to you as well. That's your soulmate. You're connected. You have that. It's just a connection where you're hurting, I'm hurting. That's that soulmate. And the chemistry is off the chain. I don't even want to talk about that. The intimacy or whatever else is beyond. It's next level. Okay, so that's not. I don't want you to get in your mind that that's. Once again, there are a lot of things that you have to be in tune with, and just the physical people is not the only thing, because once that is over, said and done, and then has did its course, ran its course, and I don't want to say it's old because you got to do things to keep it spicy. Don't let that be the only thing that you're connected with. You have to have other things: your spirituality, your emotional, your mental, your physical, everything. Okay, the chemistry is off the chain. You are there for each other. I've said that, and you might, make each other feel secure. Here's one that's a biggie. You want to always make each other feel secure in a relationship. You don't want to do things to piss your mate off, making them jealous, whatever. If some people are more jealous than other. I happen to, I got to say, everyone at some point maybe have a little bit, I'm that little bit, whatever else. However, your partner, once again, you want to make each other feel secure in a relationship, and not just doing almost cursed stuff to cause problems. One of the other things I would say is you want to be, they are a person, soulmate, that if necessary, you could actually be around them 24/7. Because keep in mind, when you go on vacation, you're going to be around them 24/7. If you can't even stand to get through a vacation with your mate, that's a problem. They're definitely not your soulmate. I think work and stuff, having that separation is good because, what is it? Distance make the heart grow fonder. Can some couples work together? Absolutely, absolutely. But once again, it's someone that, if should it be that you got to be with them all day, that you're not looking for ways to get away from them. That is not, to me, a soulmate. It's like, okay, I'm looking for ways to get rid of you. Question it. Or maybe you got some work to do. Maybe it was there and something's happened. Get my relationship assessment, do some homework, do some date nights. You feel like you have known, and here's the biggie, last but not least, you feel like you have known each other forever, that you was never in any part of your life without this person. So that's about it right now. I've been going for about 30 minutes, and this is what's going to happen on Tuesdays. I'm going to pick a topic and I'm going to talk about it. We talked about a soulmate. Just, hey, just do a self-assessment and just kind of think about what it is that you like. Don't settle. Don't settle at all, because somewhere out there, they're there. And to me, I think being alone is better than settling, okay? Once again, I am Karla Davis-Luster. This is the Us Review. Today we talked about the soulmate. You can get all of this information. It will be, I'll be posting them on Tuesdays, and they will stay up. And where they'll mainly be housed is probably YouTube, and you'll be able to do that. Ask Karla. And I want to say, if you don't have my novels, please go out and purchase them. They're on Amazon. They're at Barnes & Noble online. You can get them on my website, which is askkarladl.com. And I look forward to every Tuesday having a subject and a topic that I can talk to you about, because I am very passionate about talking to people and talking about relationships. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.